Welcome class back to Chapter 3, Working with Text in CSS. This video is going to cover Lesson 3, Understand Related Files and Media Queries. So style sheets can be used to format text objects, set the page background, we can link properties, determine the appearance of any element on a page. So we're going to be working with the related files, and I mentioned this at the very end of lesson 2. So when we're working across the related files toolbar, you want to be for sure that you're on the correct file. Okay, especially if you do a file save as, it's always good to know which one we're at, and you can kind of tell by the code that you're looking at. So this one is showing SU styles, so we can definitely see CSS here. If we were to jump back and look at the source code, that would show the HTML code. Boilerplate is going to then show us CSS as well, and of course this headings as well. Okay, this one's going to JavaScript file. Okay, so these are all related files that make this particular HTML page, which is SPA, do what it needs to do as well as present it. So when you have several pages in a website, you'll probably want to use the same styles for each page to ensure that they have consistency. And consistency just ensures the visitor that they're on a legit site and that there's nothing that is, fraudulent going on. So consistency is good there to just reinsure a user. It also helps them be able to navigate a website and not to become confused. So we can attach a style sheet to another document. So in our example in lesson 2, we created the headings.css file. What we're going to do is you can actually attach that to another file to apply the rules that are in that existing CSS file. And we'll use the CSS Designers panel to do so. So for example, if I wanted to attach the headings file to my home page, I would open up Index, and notice my CSS Designers panel now says that there's only 2. If I jump back to, I'm going to go ahead and close these out. If I jump back to SPA, I now have that addition of headings. Okay? Because if I look up in the source code, I can also see that I have an additional link. Okay? So if I wanted to attach that to index page, I would click on the plus, and I would attach an existing CSS file. I would browse, and I would find that file. And if I click OK, it will then go ahead and attach that, and now I have a brand new link. Okay, if I don't want it there, I can go ahead and click on the minus sign, and it will unlink it. Okay, so I'm going to do that because I don't think we're doing that in this example. Okay, so now my link is missing from my code as well. Okay, external style sheets can be attached or linked. They're extremely powerful, again, because where we maintain and edit a rule, we edit it in one place and it can update thousands of web pages. Okay, when an HTML file is linked, it's considered related. Okay, so once I linked or we created the headings file, it now became part of the related files toolbar. When a web page is opened in a browser, we use media queries, and I mentioned this briefly in lesson 2 as well. So when we look at SU_styles, we're going to see that we have 2 media queries. And I can see that through the code, but I also can see that in the CSS Designers panel. So if I click on SU styles, I see that there is global styles, there is the tablet styles, and then the desktop styles. Okay, so each one of these is going to have its different selectors. So if I click on global, you see my selectors. I jump to tablet, they change, and then I jump here, they change just a little bit. Okay, so each set of those media queries is designed for optimum viewing on each device. And I think this is just so part of our lives already. We're used to opening up websites on our phones, perhaps maybe an iPad or a tablet, and of course maybe on a laptop or even a desktop monitor. So we need to code our websites to make sure that they are complying to all 3 of those types of devices. So let's look at pages 22 and 23. examining media query code. Okay, so with the SPA page open, and we look at SU styles, okay, so we want to be on the related files toolbar. Okay, and then we can see it over here. So if we click on all sources, since we're on the style sheet itself, that's the only thing that we're going to see over here. If I click on source code for SPA, then I see everything. But if we're on a particular style sheet, you're only going to see that style sheet. And that kind of makes sense. Okay, we're going to look and find the tablet. So again, in lesson 2, I talked about this. So again, everything at the top is considered global, and global in Dreamweaver is designed for the smartphone. Okay, I'm going to do a Control F on my keyboard, and I'm just going to search for the word tablet. Okay, so there's one occurrence. I'm going to say the second occurrence actually takes me to the media query. So this tablet layout is from 481 to 768 pixels. And the tablet layout inherits the styles from the mobile layout or the global layout above it. Okay, and then these are the styles that we redefine. So for example, we have SU banner, okay, whereas up in the global section we have SU logo for the header. So if I hover over this, this is a smaller version, of course, because we're on a phone, but when we're on our tablet or our desktop, we can go ahead and look at a bigger banner. And if I keep scrolling down, the next section I'm going to see is a desktop layout. And we'll dive into more of this with each chapter that we go through. Okay, so that is pages 22 and 23. So no modifications to the code, was just going through it and just kind of identifying which sections are which. Now, I do want to point out quickly that the media query starts here. And it says only screen, okay, so only on a screen, and min width 481 pixels. So that means that the minimum width, okay, the minimum width of our layout, okay, is 481 pixels. Anything bigger than that, we're going to respond in a different way. Okay, so notice the opening curly brace here. That corresponds to this one. Okay, so when we start moving code around, I want you to make sure that always these media queries, okay, and with that curly brace. Same thing with desktop. Here is the start, okay, and then here is the end. Okay, because when we start adding code in lesson 4, we're going to be adding code, and then it's going to insert it here at the bottom, and that's considered global, and we're going to move it up to the top where the global section actually is. So just be careful never to move those. If you do, it breaks the media query and it kind of breaks the file. Okay, if you have any questions on lesson 3, let me know.